I never thought I'd be the villain in my own family story. But here I am, 35 years old, sitting in my downtown penthouse, blocking my mother's 15th call of the day while my sister posts tearful TikToks about how her rich, heartless sibling abandoned her in her time of need. Let me tell you how we got here. Growing up, I was invisible. Not literally, but close enough. My sister Emma was the sun, and the rest of us were just planets orbiting her brilliance. She was 3 years younger, effortlessly charismatic, and could do no wrong. I was the quiet one, the weird one, the one who spent Saturday nights reading in my room instead of going to parties. Mom and Dad never said they loved Emma more. They didn't have to. It was in every missed piano recital of mine because Emma had a soccer game. Every time I got straight A's and received a "that's nice, honey," while Emma's B- in art got framed and hung in the living room. Every Christmas where Emma got the expensive gifts and I got practical things like socks and school supplies. I learned early that the only person who was going to fight for me was me. So I fought. I worked 2 jobs in high school, saved every penny, and got a full ride to State University for computer science. I graduated at the top of my class, moved to Silicon Valley, and joined a startup that exploded into a billion-dollar company. I was employee number 12. My stock options made me wealthier than I ever dreamed possible. And through it all, my family barely noticed. 5 years ago, I got a call from Dad. His voice was strained, embarrassed. The pharmacy was threatening to cut off Mom's insulin because they couldn't afford it. Emma was living at home, unemployed after quitting her 3rd job that year because her boss was toxic. They were 2 months behind on the mortgage. I should have felt vindicated. I should have said, "Figure it out yourselves." But I couldn't, because despite everything, they were still my parents. So I set up an anonymous monthly transfer. $3,000 directly into their account. I told them it was a grant for low-income families, something I'd help them apply for. They believed it because they wanted to, because it was easier than asking their weird daughter for help. Over the years, that $3,000 became $5,000, then $7,000, then $10,000 when Emma's car broke down, when Dad needed surgery, when their roof started leaking. I paid for everything, and they never knew it was me. Meanwhile, Emma started an Etsy shop selling mediocre watercolor paintings. Mom would call me once every few months to tell me how proud she was that Emma was finally finding herself as an artist. She'd mention, almost as an afterthought, that I must be doing okay too, right? Still working with computers, or whatever. I'd say yes, hang up, and transfer another $1,000 to cover Emma's art supplies. 3 weeks ago, Emma called me. This wasn't unusual. She called every time she needed something: advice on her taxes, help formatting her resume, someone to complain to about her latest failed relationship. But this call was different. "Hey, so I have this amazing opportunity," she started, her voice bubbling with that infectious enthusiasm that had charmed everyone our whole lives. "There's this gallery in New York that wants to feature my work, but I need to pay for the exhibition space, the framing, shipping, promotion, everything. It's a huge investment, but it could literally launch my entire career." "How much?" I asked, already knowing I wouldn't like the answer. $2 million. I actually laughed. "Emma, that's insane. No legitimate gallery charges artists $2 million. You don't understand art," she snapped. "This is how the industry works. Mom and Dad think it's a great investment. They told me to ask you since you're doing so well." My blood went cold. "They told you what?" "That you're loaded. Like crazy rich. Mom saw an article about your company going public and did the math on your stock options. She's been trying to figure out how to bring it up, but I just decided to ask directly. So can you help me or not?" 5 years. 5 years of secretly paying their bills, keeping them housed and fed and medicated, and they've been sitting on this information, waiting for the right moment to ask for more. "No," I said quietly. "What?" "No. I'm not giving you $2 million for a scam gallery. It's not a scam." "Oh my God, you're so paranoid. Just because you're successful doesn't mean you have to be cruel about it. Mom was right. She said you'd probably be selfish about this." I hung up. Within an hour, my phone exploded. Mom called, crying about how she raised me better than this. Dad sent a long text about family obligations and how disappointing I'd become. Emma posted a vague Facebook status about toxic siblings who get successful and forget where they came from. The group chat with extended family lit up. Cousins I hadn't spoken to in years suddenly had opinions about my character. My aunt called me ungrateful. My uncle sent a message saying I owed my parents everything. Not one of them knew I'd been paying $10,000 a month to keep my parents' heads above water. Not one of them knew I'd covered Emma's health insurance when she was uninsured for 2 years. Not one of them knew I'd anonymously paid off Dad's credit card debt 3 times. So I decided to tell them. I scheduled a family dinner. Everyone came, probably expecting me to apologize and write Emma a check. Instead, I brought printouts. 5 years of bank transfers. Every payment, every amount, every date. I laid them out on the table like evidence at a trial. Before anyone says another word, I started, my voice steadier than I felt. I want you to see what I've actually been doing while you've been calling me selfish. Mom's face went white as she looked at the papers. Dad picked up a statement, his hands shaking. Emma just stared, her mouth slightly open. That grant you've been receiving? I continued. That was me. Every month for 5 years. 120 payments. Over $600,000. I paid for your mortgage, your medical bills, your car repairs, your groceries. I kept you afloat while Emma found herself. Why didn't you tell us? Mom whispered. Because you never asked. Because even when you knew I was successful, you didn't think to wonder if maybe, just maybe, I'd been helping all along. You just assumed I was hoarding money while you suffered. Emma's face had gone from shock to something harder. So what? You want a medal? You want us to grovel? No, I said, standing up. I want you to leave me alone. I'm done. No more transfers. No more secret payments. You're all adults. Figure it out. You can't be serious, Dad said. We'll lose the house. Then sell it. Downsize. Get jobs that actually pay your bills. Do what I did. What I've always done. Take care of yourselves. That was 3 weeks ago. Mom has called 847 times. I counted. Emma is now posting about financial abuse and family trauma, painting herself as the victim of her wealthy sister's manipulation. Several family members have blocked me, but some haven't. My aunt, the one who called me ungrateful, called back to apologize. She'd had no idea. My cousin reached out to say she'd always suspected Emma was the favorite and was proud of me for setting boundaries. And Grandma, Dad's mother, sent me a card that just said, "About damn time." I'm not saying I'm perfect. Maybe I should have been honest from the start. Maybe I enabled their dysfunction by paying.